Hey everyone, it's Steven. Today I have got one of my favorite cars of 2021 here. This is the 2021 Mazda CX-9 Grand Touring trim. I borrowed this from National Car Rental in Orlando, and I only have it for a few hours, so this is going to be a very, very brief review here. I wanted to go over the typical format. I'll give an overview of the car, where it fits into the mid-size SUV segment, kind of talk through the exterior styling, the interior, the tech, which is a huge upgraded feature in the 2021 Mazda, and then close with some overall thoughts and recommendations here. The CX-9 here is Mazda's three-row SUV in the very crowded mid-size SUV segment here. You've got competitors like the Toyota Highlander, the Kia Telluride, the Hyundai Palisade, some really, really strong competitors. But as you can see here, Mazda does a great job differentiating themselves with really nice styling, right? This car also handles really nice. It's very, very sporty, feels very different from some of the other competitors out there. So I think that really gives it an edge here. The base MSRP of this Mazda CX-9 is $34,000, which is pretty close to the other competitors in the segment. And the trim I have here is the Grand Touring, which is $42,000. That is a lot of money for a mid-size SUV here, and that kind of puts it at the same level as some of the luxury rivals, right? You're starting to get into like X3 territory, although clearly won't have as much features as this car does. But that gets to a little bit of a weird area where you can't really you can't really differentiate yourselves between the luxury touches of this car and some of the actual luxury brands out there. So there are a few different trim choices you have here. So the base is the Sport, and then you've got the Touring above that, and the new for 2021 Carbon Edition, which looks really, really nice. Has these really nice maroon red leather seats that look really, really good. And then you've got the Grand Touring above that, which comes with almost every feature available here. And then right at the very top, you have the Signature trim, which comes with some of the really nice Napa leather and those really quality interior touches. But honestly, I think the Grand Touring trim is the trim to get. Comes with the heads-up display, comes with the 360 surround camera, the Bose speaker sound system. So you really get everything that most people would want in a midsize SUV. So starting with the exterior of this car, it really looks good. I will say I do feel like the age is showing a little bit here, though. In general, Mazda has done a few refreshes over the year for the CX-9. It is in its second generation right now, and it's got really nice lights, a really nice grille, the Pentagon grille you can still see there. And you've also got some nice 20-inch aluminum alloy wheels here that look really, really good as well. So overall, not a bad-looking car, but I will say other competitors are really getting so modern, and I think Mazda is having a hard time keeping up here, so I really think they do need to do a full redesign on the exterior within the next few years here. I still don't really like the, the little black plastic trim around the bottom of the car, but overall it still looks pretty good. Moving on to the backside, you've got very distinctive taillights here, and I really like that chrome metal bar that goes in the middle. I think that came in one of the refreshed exterior styling, I think maybe in 2019, and that does give it a really modern look here. I still don't really like this, plastic trim at the very bottom here, though. The chrome accent does give it some nice finish there. The exhausts, nothing really special. I wouldn't expect anything from, a mid-size SUV like this, but it still looks pretty good. The proportions of this car, I think, are really fantastic here. Mazda does a great job making this car feel sporty when you drive it, and it really doesn't even look like that big of a car, even though it's a huge three-row SUV and very, very comfortable. You've still got this kind of sporty element, especially when you've got some of the wheels, and of course the way that the front of this car kind of sticks out. I really like how the nose is a little bit out over the rest of the grille here.
Before going into the interior of this car, I wanted to show you guys what the trunk space looks like. So this car does come with a power liftgate, and it does have a hands-free liftgate on the Grand Touring trim. But you can see behind the third row seats here, you've got pretty low cargo space. Mazda quotes about 14.4 cubic feet of space behind the third row, and if you put the third row seats down, you get about 38 cubic feet of space. This is fairly low for the mid-size SUV segment.
So overall, I do think the exterior is a nice car, but I wouldn't say it's the best or, that competitive in the segment. However, looking at this interior, this really is where the Mazda separates itself from a lot of its competitors. Look how nice this looks, right? Going right in here, you can immediately see you've got really nice stitching and contrast on the seats here, and this is actually black on black, which isn't even generally a good looking combination or a luxurious looking combination, but Mazda does a great job with all these chrome accents throughout the actual cabin. You can kind of see you've got this really nice analog clock display here in the middle, And then you've got some really nice touches and finishes on all of the inside cabin. You have a really nice leather steering wheel. And then moving on here, going into the second row here, which is obviously important for a mid-sized family SUV like this, you still have really nice quality materials in the back here. So I honestly think Mazda has done a great job perfecting that family SUV feel with this car. You've got cup holders here. You've got tri-zone climate control, so the passengers can have their own climate here. And you've also got heated seats. Of course, some of these come only with the actual Grand Touring trim that this car is, but otherwise, you've still got some really nice features for your rear passengers here. You have a lot of legroom here. It feels really, really good. So just going to briefly show you here that the third row definitely does not have the best passenger space here. The seats are big, right? It's only a two-seater in the back, so they are big and supportive, and you've got some nice little appointments here, such as a USB charging cable and some cup holders, but you really don't have space for adult passengers, at least not for a long trip. Once you get back there, it's not the worst thing in the world, but I feel like getting there is definitely not a fun experience. You don't have any power controls for this, unfortunately, so you do have to kind of manually move the seat up, but that does allow you to go in. I highly recommend getting the captain's chair configuration because it makes it a lot easier to get your kids or whatever back into the rear seats.
Now let's go to the place where this car really shines, the tech. So you have a 7-inch LED display in the middle that is configurable. You can actually see, I think, in this video that it is, not the same as the side tachometer and the speedometers. And then if you go up, you've got the heads-up display right there, and you've also got this really nice 10.25-inch not touch display here, actually. So Mazda is really against touchscreens. They say that it's distracting, which is why it's kind of far away from the passenger and the driver. And they still will stick with the traditional knobs, as you can see in the middle. A lot of people actually really like this. I feel like this is actually a big reason people will go for this car. And honestly, I'm a little bit ambivalent to this. I feel like either way works well for me. I do think that the touchscreens are going to be the future, so I don't think Mazda can keep doing this forever. But for now, it honestly doesn't bother me, and their system is very responsive and very easy to use. You've also got a 13-speaker Bose sound system that comes standard in the Grand Touring trim, which is really, really nice. Definitely a luxury feature, and also a very, very nice sound system. A lot nicer than you'd expect at this price point. The Grand Touring trim does come standard with both heated and ventilated seats, a very nice luxury touch there, and also a heated steering wheel. You've also got a sport mode selector, which is kind of fun, and definitely allows you to feel a bit more sporty when you're on throttle in this car. But the real highlight of this is this 10.25-inch display here. This is Mazda's new and improved infotainment system that you can actually find in both the Mazda 3 and some of the other vehicles in their lineup right now. But they finally moved it to the CX-9, and I'm very happy about that. It is super fast. Look at the crisp graphics there, and everything is very easy to find. This is infinitely better than a lot of other cars I've used. For example, the Range Rover that I'm actually about to review in a few weeks as well. But it's easy to find where everything is. All of the things make sense. It tells you exactly what the setting means on the side, and overall just a very, very, very impressive infotainment system. Honestly, one of the best in the industry right now. I do wish that Mazda could make this a touchscreen eventually, and I do think they're going to have to keep up with the auto industry in general. But as of right now, I definitely don't have any gripes with the infotainment system. In fact, I actually think it's a highlight of the car. And the last goodie that comes with the Grand Touring trim is that 360 camera here. You can really quickly see that this, the backup camera has a really crystal clear resolution here, which I was really impressed with. This looks so good. It looks almost better than some of the other luxury rivals at the, $100,000 price point, like the Range Rover.
So going into some driving impressions here, you have got the very famous Mazda 2.5-liter inline-4 turbocharged engine here. In the CX-9 here, it makes 250 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque. Those are impressive numbers. Listen to this. Wow. This car is not all-wheel drive, unfortunately, so you do get some pretty bad wheel spin, especially when you rev like that at a red light. But that was really fun, right? And that's in sport mode, so definitely kind of cool there. But, in general, this is going to feel like a fun car. And, I mean, honestly, from that blows away some of the competition, right? The Kia Telluride, the Toyota Highlander, they're not going to do that, right? So this is definitely a sprightly car, and it honestly, when you're driving it, it feels like you're riding in a sedan, kind of. It's so interesting. Like, I feel like, I don't really know if you're lower to the ground than other cars, but it feels like it. And the driving dynamics here are something that Mazda really nailed here. And I think, Mazda being the Zoom brand, I'm not surprised by that, I guess, but this is a really fun vehicle here. And now that I'm on the freeway here, it feels really smooth. It's a quiet cabin, kind of what you would expect from, you know, such a luxurious cabin, honestly. And I think that is really impressive, right? It balances smooth and fast for an SUV, and I find that kind of crazy in an SUV size. This is such a fun car. I honestly can't get over it. Like, I'm driving this pretty much for the first time here, and this is really impressing me. You have no problem getting up to speed. Keep in mind that those numbers I gave you earlier for horsepower and torque are actually only achieved with premium gas. So there's a bit of a weird thing where if you actually fill up with less octane gas, you'll only get 227 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. Kind of weird, but you know, I feel like if you want to go for that premium gas and impress your friends, that's kind of a fun little neat trick there. So unfortunately, that's really all I have time to review right now. As you can see, it is getting quite dark outside, and I got to return this car tomorrow. So that's going to be it for the review today. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I honestly enjoy driving this car so much more. It has been one of my favorite cars for a long time. I've been really keeping my eye on it. I'm so happy I finally picked it up at National Car Rental in MCO Airport. So again, hope you guys enjoyed that video. Check out my other videos here, subscribe down here, and leave a comment. Thanks a bunch, guys. Talk to you in the next video.